We get money when you pick me. We actually believe them.
Global warming, it's a hoax.
Who killed John F. Kennedy?
Removed by our government.
There's overwhelming proof that it didn't happen.
We're willing to risk a childhood illness over risking something like autism.
She was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
We don't want the most successful person. We want the person who keeps getting knocked down and is indefatigable. They're always popping up to the top and they have this kind of shit-eating grin on their face. And it's like, that is like the kind of happy warrior that we want.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that she is...
I think somebody should look into that, too, when you ask, continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's all doing this. It's all come together. It's all...
I want to talk about Trump's second term.
Like, yo, I just read about this dude. And she goes, yo, yeah, blah, 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 we talking. She goes, you know what? She says, let's call him on the phone. I said, what the fuck? And she picks the phone up and she dials and she's listening like this. And she goes, this is voicemail. And she gives me the phone. She goes, leave him a message. You know, I didn't know what to say. I just said what you say to any black dude that's running for president. You know, stay low, running a zigzag pattern, this kind of shit.
Bringing back the old guard.
The great challenge confronting a conservative president is the boldness to bend or break the bureaucracy to the presidential will.
You do have the First Amendment.
They want people who are unswervingly loyal to the Trump agenda, to his vision, and to him as a person, as well as to his and the movement's goal of subordinating those who don't look or sound like them.
Boy, don't let R. Kelly see you. He gonna...
Only thing to make my life completed when I turn your face to a toilet seat.
He's gonna pee on you by accident. Oh, my bad. I thought you was 15. Yuck.
Special place. Close your eyes, show me your face. I'm gonna piss on it.
Left will be the grifters and the sycophants. Whatever his worst impulse is of the day, they will facilitate it and will enable it.
You can't come into administration and then sabotage the things the man elected by the people has said we will do.
The son of a bitch had to resign in disgrace because he wore a damn Nazi uniform to Trump's first inaugural. So they had to quietly let him go, along with Flynn and a few others. But that motherfucker's back, baby.
What we saw during the Trump administration is you saw career officials disagreeing with the president. Disagreeing in the sense, and even going so far as to say, I'm going to disrupt or sabotage your agenda. I'm just looking at you. Okay. I'm Chad Wolf. I'm the former acting secretary of the Department of Homeland Security under President Trump. I'm the current executive director of the America First Policy Institute.
They're proposing a re-elected Donald Trump brings in what's called Schedule F, an executive order that would allow the president to fire people at will.
And the idea with Schedule F is very, very simple, which is if you're in a policy-making role and you're working against the president, we have the ability to remove you.
Well, I wonder, Tim Walz, when were you ever in war? What was this weapon that you carried into war, given that you abandoned your unit right before they went to Iraq, and he has not spent a day in a combat zone? What bothers me about Tim Walz is the stolen valor garbage. Do not pretend to be something that you're not.
Advisor to Donald Trump when he was in the White House, a good friend of Trump's as well, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, a political commentator and broadcaster.
A direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans have said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there.
Let me finish before you interrupted me twice because of what they said in your ear. What are they going to do? How do they jump over the black female vice president?
You know who wasn't a big deal? Sebastian Gorka. He was there for about 5 minutes. But in the next administration, hell, he'll probably be a cabinet secretary.
And then I was just out there in the upside down, not having no TV show, trying to figure life out. And the election was going on in the background. And this guy, Barack Obama, was picking up steam. This motherfucker was killing it. And I had a chance to go to the last debate on the Democratic ticket. And I went. It's me and Chris Tucker sitting in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's the last three candidates. It was Barack Obama, John Edwards, and Hillary Clinton. Now, Obama's a lot taller than Edwards and Clinton, and he had the center podium. And at one point, they're all on stage, and they start fussing, and Obama goes, look, none of us are perfect, like this. And his hands was like this, and there was light shining behind his head, and the other two candidates was looking up at the nigga, and I was sitting in the audience like, nigga looks like Jesus.
Seb Gorka, this is your worst nightmare. The Trump team have lost their greatest asset, Joe Biden.
Great to hear from you. No, it's the worst nightmare ever for the Democrats. I mean, let's look at the statistics of it all. This woman, this disaster whose only qualification was having a vagina and the right skin color, this woman in the Democrat primaries, I'm not talking about an election, in the Democrat primaries garnered
Sebastian, let me interrupt you. Sebastian, let me interrupt you. That's pretty unkind language about the vice president. This is an accomplished lawyer and senior politician, and the vice president of your country. Do you wish to take back that rather sexist remark?
No, I don't. It's a statement of fact. She is the DEI hire. She's the diversity, equity, inclusion hire.
Do you really not think Trump was serious when he said he wants to put alligators and snakes in a moat? The dude doesn't make a joke. He's never made a joke. Does anybody think any of this shit's funny?
We will reverse the Biden ban on natural gas exports. We're going to drill, baby, drill. That's what we're going to do. We're going to drill, baby. We'll drill, baby. Thank you very much. I will pass landmark legislation. If India, China, or any other country hits us with a 100 or 200% tariff on American-made goods, we will hit them with the same exact tariff. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto our children.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to introduce the Attorney General, and there goes the teleprompter.
This is really going to be the engine room for the next administration. Many of these folks served and will be called upon to serve again. And I know President Trump's team will be receptive of it.
I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
Scroll down, Mickey. No, sorry, Mickey, you're scrolling up. Could you, Mickey?
Chief of Staff of the Department of Homeland Security, someone Trump hired, says that he's amoral, along with dozens of others. They say he cannot govern. They say he's an idiot.
And I realized in that moment that I was looking at the next president of the United States. I was certain of it. I couldn't explain it, but I knew what I was seeing. And I got really excited. And I'm not that kind of guy. I said, I gotta meet this motherfucker. So I stayed. They were all on stage doing interviews, and I just waited. I was waiting and waiting. And then John Edwards was done with his interviews first, because everybody knew he wasn't gonna win. And I see John Edwards, and I said, hey, Senator Edwards, I just want to say hi. And that motherfucker looked at me like, I'm like, fuck you, nigga, you gonna lose anyway. And then he left, and then Hillary Clinton just walked by me in one of them Steve Harvey suits.
It's hard to find the most problematic agencies, but I think you'd have to put DOJ at the top. The reality is that agency is one of the key extensions of the deep state.
So when I came in and I realized the deep state is real, I realized of all of these agencies and departments, the DOJ is the worst. The DOJ is a viper's nest of politically motivated individuals who see it as their fiefdom to serve the Democrat Party and their buddies.
We will completely overhaul the corrupt Department of Injustice to clear out all the communists who have weaponized government activities.
Of course, there's any number of right-wing nutters that are more than happy to go right along with it. People couldn't exist without Fox News. You know, Ben Shapiro and
But the reality is that
they're all the same. It's an army. What was it called? Oh, that's right. A basket of deplorables. Well, now it's a fucking bucket.
Today I wrote another check for $10 million. I'm spending money like crazy.
Trump's supporters accuse the DOJ of targeting the former president with bogus investigations and of stymieing both his first-term agenda and his bid for re-election.
The U.S. government had classified intelligence indicating that Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi tried to give Trump $10 million to boost his campaign at almost the exact same time.
But Obama was taking forever. Everybody wanted to talk to him. When I knew the media saw exactly what I saw, there was no question about it. That was the guy. I waited, and finally, it must have been over an hour and a half. He finishes his last interview. He's like, well, thank you very much. Good talking to you. And he turns around, and we make eye contact. He sees me. And when he sees me, he looks over, he goes, Dave Chappelle. And he like bro hugged me, and he pulled me in, and I'll never forget this. He said in my ear, I got your message.
He's a fantastic guy. Took control of Egypt, and he really took control of it. And I thought it was a great meeting. We met for a long time, actually. We had a long meeting and got along. There was a good chemistry there. You know when you have good chemistry with people, you're the king of that. And it was a very good chemistry, good feeling between us.
5 days before Trump was sworn into office, the Washington Post reports that a bank branch in Cairo received an unusual letter from an organization linked to the Egyptian intelligence service. It asked the bank to kindly withdraw nearly $10 million from the organization's account, all in cash. Inside the state-run National Bank of Egypt, employees were soon busy placing bundles of $100 bills into 2 large bags, according to records from the bank. 4 men arrived and carried away the bags, which U.S. officials later described in sealed court filings as weighing a combined 200 pounds and containing what was then a sizable share of Egypt's reserve of U.S. currency.
Donald Trump has promised that if he becomes president again, he would harness the Department of Justice to go after the people he perceives as political enemies or as somehow disloyal.
The other half of this incredible new piece from the Washington Post is about how federal prosecutors investigated all of this for years. And then, knowing everything I just laid out, Trump's Attorney General, Bill Barr, seems to have made that investigation just go away.
I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the United States of America, Joe Biden, and the entire Biden crime family.
He doesn't respect intelligence because Vladimir Putin told him to not respect the intelligence. Vladimir Putin told him it wasn't Russia. Good enough for old Donnie there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney General Barr, has the president or anyone at the White House ever asked or suggested that you open an investigation of anyone?
I wouldn't.
Yes or no?
Could you repeat that question?
I will repeat it. Has the president or anyone at the White House ever asked or suggested that you open an investigation of anyone? Yes or no, please, sir?
The president or anybody else.
We've talked about Trump pursuing his enemies. One of those he wants retribution against is the sitting president, Joe Biden. He said he will appoint a special prosecutor to go after Joe Biden. Do you think he'll come after you as well?
I think there's a chance of that. Nobody can accurately say
how far Donald Trump would be willing to go after his enemies and what he'd be willing to do to them.
Peter Strzok said something unfavorable to the president. So he's not just fired. He's guilty of treason. You know. We should hang him. No reason to worry. He only wants to be a dictator on day one. Which, of course, is how every dictatorship that ever was started. Day one. But let's just say he did it for a day. You can get a lot done in a day.
I'll side with the cat ladies any day over the party of bosses and rich guys. The party's made it harder to unionize and repealed child labor laws and poured trillions into the pockets of the wealthiest people in America.
Then you need to kick that door down.
They want you to believe that the corporate oligarchs whose taxes they cut whenever they get a hold of power are actually secretly in league with the childless cat ladies of the world. I mean, off. Wait, sorry, was I supposed to say that, Wally?
Yeah.
Okay, great, all right.
Apparently, he could go ahead and have his political enemies executed by SEAL Team 6.
The biggest thing to hit
America
since Ozempic. And lying that you're not on Ozempic.
Wouldn't that be an official act? He's setting up a dynasty. Do you really think he's going to hand the whole thing over to
Ohio Senator and Pillsbury douche boy J.D. Vance? Uh-oh, honey. Our house appears to be on fire. I have a prepared statement to make about this. If you... That is the wrong pocket. That is the wrong pocket.
J.D. Vance is a means to an end.
Here it is. Thank you for your patience. Run.
And that end is President Ivanka. Come on.
Donald Trump tried to distance himself from the group, insisting he knows nothing about it. Despite reports, his campaign has been briefed by its officials.
This whole thing goes back to this fucking guy, Paul Dans.
Well, sure, in my personal capacity, I'm a Trump supporter and have been down in Mar-a-Lago many times, but, we have integration with folks on the campaign. The reality is, yes, we often, supply ideas and ultimately we hope to offer personal suggestions.
Ohio Senator and toddler in front of you on an airplane, J.D. Vance.
And 200 other people out of the Trump administration that have set this thing up. It's called Project 2025. If I haven't convinced you to look it up, please go look it up now. Project 2025. It's from the Heritage Foundation. It's nuts.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. They're full of shit. Y'all take it easy.
Of the values that you work hard for what you want in life.
For what you want in life.
That your word is
that
your
word is your bond. That you do what you say you're going to do.
Keep your promise.
That you treat people.
That you treat people
with dignity and respect. And because we want our children and all children in this nation to know that the only limit to the height of your achievements is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them.
Come on, 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 come on. Don't negotiate, let's investigate, we'll accelerate, and we're taking him down.